Hey guys, I'm Taylor Robert, factory FMF Red Bull KTM rider, and I'm here to show you how to load your motorcycle into the back of your truck. More specifically, a lifted truck like the one here from Lifted Trucks. They just built this awesome F350, and I'm gonna show you how to load your dirt bike into the back without hurting yourself, your bike, or your truck. So let's get to it. A couple tips and tricks that aren't necessarily gonna change your life, but might make things just a little bit easier. The first off is just, set up your ramp, and then I always put something next to the ramp to stand on that kind of helps with that transition from going from the ground into the bed of the truck. So you're not trying to make this huge step and then you get stuck here, the bike comes back and that's just a mess. The next little tip, which a lot of people forget to do, is just strap your ramp down. Super easy, takes about 20 seconds. I do it from the top of the ramp to the tow hook and then cinch it down. And that ramp's not going anywhere. So what that does is when you're pushing the bike into the back of the truck and it hits the bottom of the ramp, sometimes that ramp will flip up and it can even hit you in the face. I had a buddy that the ramp hit him right in the forehead. Now he's got a Harry Potter scar. So you don't want that to happen to you. The other thing that this helps is if, some guys like to load the bike with the bike running and just to kind of help them, use the throttle to help them get into the bed of the truck. And if you do that without tying down the ramp, you get it right here with the front wheel up and the back wheel down. You give it a little bit of throttle to get it in the back of the truck and shoots the ramp out, and now the bike falls back on top of you, or maybe even worse. So just tie the ramp down, little safety thing, takes less than 30 seconds. And now we'll get to loading the bikes in the back of the truck. We're out here in the middle of the desert. We don't necessarily have a perfectly level spot to load the bike. So if that's the case, always just try and move your truck face downhill. Any little bit helps. You don't want to be loading it uphill. If you're loading it on flat ground, it's not going to make much of a difference. You don't have an option. So here we just have a slight downhill to help us out a little bit, but like I said, not a big difference if you're doing it on flat ground. And what I like to do is give myself enough room between my bike and the truck to get a little bit of momentum going, because if you have a little bit of speed, it makes that transition to the bed of the truck a lot easier. And I like to do it all in one motion without stopping and being in an awkward spot. So just like with anything else in life, momentum is your friend. So as you can see, I just kept the momentum going, made it one smooth transition up into the back of the truck, and goes up pretty easy. The next thing I'm gonna show you guys how to do is how I like to tie the bikes down. Everybody kind of has their own way. I have a way that works out pretty well, and I've been doing it for quite a few years now, so try it out and let me know what you think. If I'm loading one bike, I like to load the bike on the right side of the bed and turn the wheel in towards the center of the bed. And that's gonna do a couple things. It's gonna, one, give the tie downs better leverage on the bike, but my favorite part about it is that it keeps the bike off to the one side of the bed so you can still see out of your rearview mirror. A lot of guys will push the bike in straight to one side, kick the back wheel over. Now the bike takes up their whole bed and they can't see out of their rearview mirror. So just a little safety tip, but yeah, let's go ahead and tie this thing down. I use these soft straps that just gives it a super secure tie down spot, and it also is a little cosmetic thing. It doesn't scratch up your handlebars or your fork tube or wherever you may tie your bike down. But I like to go around the the handlebar here and get it a little snug. Take the other side, same spot on the handlebar. Make sure it's nice and tight, and now as you can see, that thing's not going anywhere. And that's one reason why I like tying the bikes down like this, because if you put the bike in straight, kick the rear wheel over, when you go around turns in the truck, the bike wants to fall in towards the center of the truck. And with this way, it doesn't want to fall either direction. So, and like I said, you get the rear view mirror, and it creates more space if you're gonna add a second bike in here, or even possibly a third bike. You can still close the tailgate like this, and you have full use of your rear view mirror. So that's why I like this system the best. But we're not done yet. Let's show you guys how to do a second bike in here. All right, so the second bike, same as the first. I like to get a little bit of momentum. I'm gonna go to the far left side of the bed this time, but I'm gonna push it up in the center, and then once I get up in there, I'm gonna move the bike over a little bit. So I just do the opposite of what I did with the first bike. I go far left and then turn the wheel towards the center. And ideally you want both wheels touching each other right in the middle of the bed. So there you go. Both bikes tied down with the wheels pointing towards the center of the bed. Neither one of them wants to fall into each other. And it gives you plenty of room to put your toolbox, your gear bag, your ramp, everything else here in the center. Or it also leaves room for a third bike to go in the center with the handlebars kind of tucked out of the way. With this option, you can still see out of the rearview mirror and you can still close the tailgate, which is my favorite part because I don't like losing stuff on the highway. So this next little tip is just something to make it a little bit easier once you get a third bike in here. Once you get that bike up here, things tend to get kind of tight. It's kind of hard to move around in here. So I just like to set up the tie downs before I get the bike in here. Just makes life a little bit easier. I route it exactly how I want to route it, which is in front of the forks and over the front wheel. Hook it there on the handlebar or fork or handguard, lever, whatever you have to hook it on. Just like that. And then once you get the third bike up in here, those tie downs are ready to go. You don't have to reach over and get Gumby and try and grab those out from underneath the wheel or anything like that. So this is all set up for the third bike. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, guys, so now that I showed you how to load the bikes, I got one little extra credit for those of you who are feeling extra confident. This is how I personally like to load the bike. And it goes, you know, to the old saying, work smarter, not harder. But please do not try this at home if you are not 100% confident that you could make it into the back of the truck without hurting yourself, your bike, or your truck. Luckily, I've been racing professionally for 12 years now. And I've been riding dirt bikes for, shoot, I don't know, since I was 4, so that'd be 25 years. So yeah, just be very careful if you ever do try this. Definitely make sure that ramp is tied down because you don't want to be coming into your truck with speed and have that ramp flip up at you. But yeah, here we go. There we go, easy as that. Barely even had to move a muscle. Like I said, work smarter, not harder. All right, so now that we have the third bike in here and the tie downs are all set up, it's super easy just to come in here, grab the tie down, give it a little tug, grab the other one, give that one a tug. And there you go. You have 3 bikes tied down. The handlebars, the levers, the controls, everything is clear from each other. You know, the bikes aren't leaning on each other. Everything kind of has its own space. So this is my favorite way to load the bikes into the back of the truck. And you still have plenty of room back here to throw your ramp, your stand, your gas can, and whatever else you might have. So my last tip for you guys is when you have 3 bikes in here, or if you have a shorter bed, you might not be able to close the tailgate. So in this case, I'm gonna show you guys how to halfway close the tailgate. That way it keeps all your guys' stuff in there, your ramp, your stand, your gear bag. You know, this way those things aren't falling out on the freeway. So what I do is I prop the tailgate up, I unclip the tailgate cable, and then I loop it over the tailgate catch and clip it back in, and boom. Now your tailgate's propped up at a 45-degree angle and should stop any stuff from falling out on the road. Guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on how to load your bikes properly into the back of a truck. If you have any questions or you want to see any other tutorials that have to do with motorcycles and trucks, let us know. We'll do our best to try and create more videos. And yeah, make sure you check the guys out on YouTube and Instagram, Lifted Trucks Arizona, and definitely check out the trucks they have on liftedtrucks.com.